Coach, another slow start for the offense. Did you think the way you guys started out that second half, driving down the field, going for it on fourth down, just to get something going? Is that the thinking?
What's your question?
To go for it on fourth down instead of taking the field goal?
No, I mean, you needed 3 scores, but we needed confidence. And if BJ catches the ball instead of tries to run with it, we have a first down, maybe a touchdown. So it's, when you play at somebody else's place, you play at somebody else's place, you have to play to win. You're not on that part. We hadn't been down there very often. If you get down there, you better find out to get more than 3.
With the turnovers, especially in the first half, the defense was again put in tough spots and forced them to attempt field goals, and they missed a couple, and you guys were right there.
Oh yeah, it was. Bottom line is we got to find a way to take ball games, not find ways to lose ball games. So it's.
How much of a blow was that when Josh Stewart returned that punt in the first quarter?
Well, I mean, big one. Yeah, well, one of the things we said not to do is we didn't want to overkick it. So we shanked one, then we overkicked it. And then we started punting it like we were supposed to down the sidelines and don't let the guy have an opportunity to catch it. So it's, but we knew how dangerous he was. That was not the plan. Second time in 7 games that we scored a touchdown, get a chance, and our kickoff team allows them to have a big return in the LSU game also. I thought that was a big turning point.
Can you talk about when you brought in Tyler at the quarterback position? You know, what you were thinking at that point? What you wanted?
Trayvon needed to watch the game. He needed to watch what was going on and get a chance to do what he needed to do, and you're going to keep seeing it. See how his shoulder is on Monday.
I think it was.
See what happened on the fumbled handoff to Salinina on Matthew's first play? Was that Salina's?
I don't know. I have no idea.
When they were alternating plays, I think it was the fourth quarter. Was there a scheme behind that? Just try to throw OSU off with Tyler and?
No, his arm was hurt. We're trying to get him to calm down. I mean, his shoulder's hurting, so it's bang. You need to give him more than one play to.
Is it the same thing he dealt with last year?
I have no idea.
Why didn't Tyler start the second half?
Because Trayvon did.
What positives do you take out of this, Coach?
There is no positives when you lose. Like I told him, it's we don't play as good football as we can, and you're close, but close doesn't count. They don't give you close. So you got to find a way to go win. We did it a year ago. Learned how to take ball games when we went on the road. And
Coach Anderson was on the field in the second half.
Yeah.
Well,
they've been calling together. What happened in the second half was Coach Burns was the lead caller. Second half, we needed somebody to get him fired up, and so we moved Coach Anderson back down on the field so we could get it in faster and do the things we needed to do. And they still work together just like they worked before. Only instead of Coach Anderson being and we decided that beginning of the week. Sometimes you just need somebody else how they think about it. But they still both had calls, and we've got some guys open, and you got to go make plays.
It was another one of those games where the offense was slow in the first half. Second half, is it adjustments? Is it just not?
Well, I think a little bit. But I mean, if I had an answer for it, I definitely we've tried about everything we can to try to fix it up to this point.
I mean, have you ever been a part of an offense that has had that type of just polar differences between the two halves? I mean, I know you just said you don't have an answer.
I have to think about it. I hadn't thought about it.
Was this the first time that Coach Burns was the lead play caller in the second half this season, or ever? Is that? In the first half at least, you've been talking about receivers going after balls and coming back to balls. On several occasions, it seemed like they were failing to do that.
No, Deontay Gray actually had the same kind of throw and came back for a ball.
In the second half, yeah.
But, I mean, you don't get a chance to be hat pregnant. You either are or you aren't. So it's,
yeah, they did a better job in the second half, it seemed, but that seemed to be a problem again in the first half.
We've got to understand we've got to go after the ball. You got to make plays. But there was one where we had Cam looping down the middle and Trayvon underthrew it. And even Deontay says you got to get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker. He's got to get it out so it's not not one of those things, because those guys are fast enough to run by anybody. We just gotta be able to get the ball to where it needs to be when it goes.
You know, we're just asking you about the offense, but they have a pretty good defense, don't they,
Well,
Golden State?
yeah, I think they have some good players. I mean, they lead the league in takeaways. I think we won that battle today.
Yeah, just, the inability to take advantage of those 3 interceptions in the first half.
You know, when you go on the road, you can't, there's not anything else you can talk about. When you're gonna take ball games, you gotta go make plays. I mean, we did it at Boise, we did it at West Virginia last year. You gotta go find ways at the end to go make plays. I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to go take ball games. People don't give it to you when they have their own crowd, you know, but I thought we got banged up today, and one of the reasons I think they were a little bit fresher, to be honest with you. 2 weeks off, and you got the same thing with Texas coming in, because they've had 2 weeks off. So I said before the game started, it's an advantage, but I mean, I'm not giving you an excuse. That's not the reason why we started slow. That's not the reason why they did this or did that. I'm just saying to you, I'm talking about the physicalness of the game. So now we got a big crowd, and we have Texas coming to town, and we got to find a way to win by 1. So that's the next ball game.
Speaking of being beat up, Brandon Carter I don't think played in the second half.
No, we had, Dominic Merkel's probably gone for the rest of the season, and Brandon will evaluate, Davion Pearson will evaluate. There's about 8 guys in there that will evaluate.
What did Merker hurt?
Broke his leg.
Oh, wow. On special teams?
Whenever he was in on whatever play he was in on.
McFarland got 2 sacks today. Can you talk about his?
Well, yeah, I mean, we got pressure. We got pressure all day from them. They went to what we call a pistol, where they line up behind it and had a little bit of success running the football there in the middle of third quarter, fourth quarter. But you know, we felt pretty good about our plan and things. We still though had a couple checks where we gave them a big run, and also one we gave them a touchdown on the goal line. So we have our own faults and things we need to do to make sure we get done what we need to get done. So Josh Stewart's a good player. You got to give Oklahoma State credit. I mean, we doubled him, we played over the top of him. He still found ways to, you know, it's one thing about playing a good defense. You always get everybody's A effort. Because I didn't see that offense against Kansas State. Again, you got 2 weeks to prepare for us and get things, and like you gave them an opportunity for number 9 to come back and be the starting fullback. They moved one of their tackles into guard, you know, which they, talking to them, they felt like that was one of their weaknesses. I mean, there was things that they were able to get done that is part of the deal. But you got to give Coach Gundy and Oklahoma State credit. They're 5-1, and you know, they found a way to stay at home.
Put Stewart up there in that same category with Landry and Beckham, some of those.
I don't know about that. Both those 2 guys are pretty special, but he had a great. Stewart's a good player. He really is.
What did you see? What were the differences you saw in their offense when they made the quarterback switch? Did you see any?
I mean, no. Without me watching the film on the way home, it's hard for me to evaluate that. You know, there's so many things that go into that. For example, what was the defense? What was the call? Who was in the ball game with him? I mean, there's a lot of variances to go with. You know, we caught them in a run when they had an all-out blitz and gave us a touchdown. It's a great call. They knew we had a chance to get a touchdown if we broke one, if we got by the one guy. So,
if all things were equal, do you know, between the quarterbacks Boykin and Matthews, which I know they're not, and you know, never works out that smoothly.
So
do you
how
worry?
can I ask that question? It's
you,
like dating.
Okay, do you worry that you need a more mobile quarterback behind the offensive line, given that they're
Well, that's
still
one of the things that's.
gaining experience?
Even today, even Tyler had to run for himself. And one run he's got to run the offense. We should have handed the ball off on one that he kept. But it's a progression. We got to keep going, doing what we need to do. Our job's to win ball games.
Let's do 2 more questions, guys.
Coach, have you ever gone through a year like this where you've been so close late in a ball game and the ball just didn't bounce your way?
No, it's just not where it's. I we've only had one losing season in 16 years, so for me, and that year, I wouldn't say that there was close ball games, because we were better on offense, and we didn't play really well on defense, so we kept ourselves in, but again, you know, when you're not, things aren't going, your margin for error is a lot less. And so you can't make, either side of the ball, you can't make mistakes we need to. Like I told them, we shouldn't be putting our head down. I said, losing's like a disease. If you don't try to fix it, it spreads. So I've been doing this a long time. The only place I've ever been that we were like that was the first job I ever had. So for us, we just need to keep moving